Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and welcome to this 30-minute flow where we're going to be focusing on the hips and the hamstrings, and we're going to have a little try at full splits towards the end, but there's loads of options if that's not for you. I have got 2 blocks which are going to help, especially if you're tight in the hamstrings. Alternatives, just 1 block, cushions, water bottles, rolled up blankets. I also have a strap which we'll use at the beginning, and again alternatives to this are a hoodie or a jumper, just something that's a bit longer than your arms, maybe the tie from your dressing gown, that's a really great one. Okay, so when we're ready, we've gathered all those little bits and bobs. Meet me on the mat and we're going to come to lay on our backs. So we're going to start laying down. Comfortable. Get those last little fidgets out of the body, and then take a few moments to settle your awareness on your breath. As you breathe in and out into the belly, feel the belly rise. You can have your legs straight, you can have them bent, whatever feels good for you. Just really trying to slow your breath down. Nice. Now we're going to release that awareness of the breath. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourselves a hug, maybe a little rock from side to side. Taking hold now of the right knee and allow that left leg either to be bent or you can straighten it down, whatever again is good for you and your hips. Draw your knee further into your chest. You could take some little rolls through the ankle. Nice. Then we're going to straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. Really flex through that right foot. Now, if you want to and you have one, you could use a strap or a jumper if that foot or that leg feels out of reach. A great way to stretch through the hamstrings. If you've not got one, don't worry, taking hold of a little bit further down the leg, but really activate through the heel. Release the foot down. You could hug the knees back in towards the chest before we go to the other side. So holding onto that left knee, draw it into the chest. Ankle rolls if you want to. Well done. And then again, straighten that left leg up to the ceiling, either taking that strap over the foot, holding onto the leg somewhere, and then press the heel away, flex that left foot. Lovely. Draw the knees back in, take a minute. And then the soles of the feet are going to come down to the ground, hip distance apart. Hands either side of the hips. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. We're coming into a bridge pose. Be gentle. It's quite early in the practice. Feel an opening out through the front of the hips. Slowly release all the way down. Rock yourself up to seated. Shimmy down the mat. And then make your way to all fours. If you've got any blocks or anything, you can bring them to the top of your mat. If you haven't, don't worry. From that all fours position, we're going to lift the hips, downward facing dog. In this downward facing dog, instead of bending the knees, I want you to straighten the legs, send the heels down, and don't really worry about what the downward dog looks like. We're concentrating on that stretch down the back of the hamstrings. When you're ready, walk your feet to your hands at the top of the mat. When you get there, bring your hands to your shins. And again, concentrate on that feeling down the back of the hamstrings as you straighten your legs. Crown of the head reaches forwards, tailbone is reaching back. As you fold, see if you can keep that straightness in the legs. So we're really tapping in to the hamstrings. And then bend the knees, roll all the way up to stand. Lovely. So we're standing tall at the top of the mat. Feet are hip width apart. Inhale, reach the hands over the head. Exhale, fold at the hips, back to your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Nice. Inhale, roll all the way up to stand. Lovely. And again at the top, inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, stretching the backs of the hamstrings. Exhale, forward fold. And then rolling all the way up to stand. Nice work. We're going to keep adding to this now. Inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step your right foot back. Lower your right knee. Inhale, sweep the hands high. We're going to tuck the pelvis under so you get a nice stretch across the front of that right hip. When you can feel that, then start to ever so slightly lean forward. We're not really leaning into the hips. There's just that gentle, gentle lean. Nice. You can have your hands on your hips, on your pelvis if that helps, or you can reach them up to the sky. Take a few breaths here. So we've moved from the hamstrings now to the hips. Lovely. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down. Slide that right foot back. Send the hips back. Take a child's pose. That moment to rest, that moment to refocus the breath. Send your weight back into your hands. We're going to replace the right hand with the right foot. This time we're sending the hips back, coming into half splits. If you need to use a block or two blocks, you can place them underneath your hand. Same thing like we've been doing. Draw your right foot back towards your shin so you get that real stretch down the hamstrings. Rebend your right leg. This time we're lifting the back knee off the ground and stepping to the top of the mat. When you get there, inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand, arms over the head. And then we're going to fold straight back down. Exhale, do the other side. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Exhale the hands down, the left foot steps back this time, and then lower your left knee. Inhale to rise up, low lunge. And again, we're tucking the pelvis under and then slightly leaning forward. So we're really targeting that part of your left hip into your hip flexor, a little bit into the quads. Inhale, exhale, hands down. Slide your right foot back and then take that child's pose. Shift the weight back to tabletop. This time it's the left foot that's going to replace the left hand. We're going to send the hips back into half splits, half Hanumanasana. Use your blocks if you need it. If you haven't got a block, you could use a water bottle. Engagement in the left leg, toes drawing back towards the shin. Nice. Bend into that left leg, hands come down. Lift the right leg off the ground, step it to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Well done, everyone. Inhale, rise up, arms over the head. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a minute, take a breath before we move on to our next round. So we're going to do exactly the same, but this time is the option to have that back knee lifted off the ground. So we start the same. Inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands down. Right foot steps back. This time keep that back knee lifted. Inhale, rise up into a high lunge this time, but we're going to do the same. They're going to tuck the pelvis under. Feel that stretch. Bend a little bit deeper and maybe straighten that right leg. Hands can stay on the hips if that helps, or you can reach them up to the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands down. This time we're stepping back. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps to the hands. We're keeping the heel of that back foot lifted. We're going to straighten this time the right leg. We're coming into pyramid pose. And again, grab your blocks if you need to. If you haven't got blocks and the ground is a long way away, come with the hands onto the hips. So you're a little bit more lifted, but you're still getting that stretch down that right hamstring. Nice work, everyone. So you're drawing the right hip back, slightly reaching the left hip forwards. Lovely. This time we're going to step the left foot to the top of the mat. Remove the blocks if they're in your way. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, arms over the head. And then we're folding straight back down. Exhale to do the other side. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Nice. Exhale, hands down. Left foot steps back. Rise up. High lunge. Tuck the pelvis. Bend the right knee. Straighten the left leg. Take a few breaths. Keep the heel of that back foot lifted. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Stepping it back to your downward facing dog. If you want to take child's pose, go ahead.
And again, if you want to keep the heels lifted, you can. If you want to take another opportunity to stretch the hamstrings, go ahead. Root the heels down towards the ground. On your next inhale breath, left foot steps to the top. So we're preparing for pyramid pose. Left leg straightens. Coming up onto hands on the hips if you've not got blocks and the ground is a long way away. So trying not to compensate if you can't reach the ground by bending that left leg. We're wanting to target the hamstrings. So coming up higher, keeping that left leg straight. Nice. And then same thing, we're stepping the right foot to the top. Move the blocks out of the way. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Rise up to stand, reach the arms over the head. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. Nice work, everybody. Taking a few moments to reconnect to the breath. Inhale, we're going to reach the hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot steps back. Lower your right knee. This time we're keeping the hands on the ground and we're going to flow through two places. So we're staying here with the hands on the ground for a few breaths. Again, if you need your blocks or block, grab them now. So this time the hips are lower. Feeling that opening through the hips. Exhale, we're going to send the hips back, coming into that half hamstring stretch, half Hanumanasana. Nice. And these are the two places we're going to flow through. So exhale, come forwards, move the hand or your blocks forwards if you need to. Take an inhale, exhale back. Inhale it forwards, exhale it back. Nice, and you can do this in your own time. You don't have to wait for me. Moving with your own breath. Inhale forwards, exhale back. Inhale forwards. And then exhale, sending it back, stay in here. Left leg straight, pulling the left hip back, or you can have the option to take full splits or moving towards full splits. So shimmy that right leg back, slide your left hip and left leg forwards, using the blocks underneath your hands. Or if you want to, you can use them underneath you. There's a little help. You could also use a bolster or a cushion underneath. Nice. To come out, bring that right knee forwards. Bring your left foot back. If you want to come back to half Hanumanasana. Nice, everyone. Well done. And then come back to the center. Send the right knee back to tabletop and switch it round so the right foot is forwards. And again, grab your blocks, lower your hips, trying to keep that right knee over the right ankle when you're in this place. Take a few breaths here if you want to. Exhale, so send it back. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale back. Nice. Inhale it forwards. Exhale back. One last flow and then we'll stay. Inhale forwards. exhale back. Staying here for a few more breaths. So you can stay here in this half Hanumanasana, so half splits. Or if you want to, you could start to move into full splits. So start to slide your back foot and back knee backwards and slide your right foot forwards. If you have a grippy mat like me, it's quite tricky. But come in as far as feels good and don't worry how deep or not deep that is. Use your blocks if you want to for support under the hands, or equally you can stack the blocks underneath you to lift you, to keep you there. And then to come out, bring that right foot back, slide that left knee back, and then we're here back in half Hanumanasana. Lovely. Remove the blocks out of the way, come back forward, slide your right leg back. And then we're going to shimmy the knees down into the center of the mat. Come to sit on your knees. So you can stay here if this is enough for you. We're targeting now the front of the thighs. If you're getting a nice stretch here, if that's enough, stay here. You could lean yourself back slightly so that you get a little bit more of an intensity in that stretch. Or the other option is to come into saddle pose. So you're going to lift your bottom away from your heels, separate those heels, and then sink your bottom in between your heels. Now, if you've got any tenderness in your knees, then come back to that first variation. If you feel like this is okay, but you could make it a little bit better, you can pop a block or a cushion underneath your hips. So you're just taking a little bit of pressure out. Lovely. If you haven't got that block and you think you can go further, you could start to lean back. You could come down onto the elbows. You could even lay your back all the way down on the ground if that is something that is accessible for you. Taking a few moments to breathe in whatever place you are. If you're laid down, come up back onto the elbows. If you're on your elbows, come back up onto your hands. Everybody lifting back forwards. Lift the bottom wherever it is. Remove the feet from underneath you. Slide them away. Shimmy down the mat and come back to the bottom, laying down on the ground. Bringing the feet hip distance apart. We're going to take a bridge like we did at the beginning, but this time we're going to make it a little bit more restorative. So grab a block if you've got one. If you haven't got a block, you could grab a cushion. We're going to lift the hips and slide the block under. Now you can pick whatever level. If you're on a block, I would suggest this way because it's really nice and restorative. Anything higher, you're really pushing into your back. So get that block in a place where it's supportive, a cushion, whatever it is you have, a blanket maybe. And then start to really drop the breath down. Feeling that rise and fall of the breath in the body. This is a really great way to settle the breath, settle the mind. With the hips higher than the heart, we're tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system. So that part of us that deals with rest and digest. Also sending the breath into the belly activates the vagus nerve. And again, that really helps us to move into that side of the nervous system that helps us to slow down. Last few breaths. We're going to remove the block, so press into the feet, lift the hips, slide the block away. And you can now release the breath coming into Shavasana. And you can stay here for as long as you like. If you have longer than this video, pause or end the video and stay here for as long as you need. Starting to slow the breath back down. Feeling the rise and the fall of the breath in the body. Sending the breath deep into your belly. Release the awareness of the breath. Start to bring some movement back. Wiggling the fingers, the toes. Maybe you move the hips and the knees from side to side. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourselves a hug. And then making your way back up as you come to a comfortable seat. Gathering the hands at the center of the chest. Taking one last big deep breath in through the nose. And a sigh out through the mouth. Thank you so much for your practice today.